locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke Loves Rasslin.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Duke. What the hell is that? I mean, that's the Michael PS. The PS stands for Pure Sexy. PS Hayes. When he'd walk around and bop around with his big mullet back in the 80s, you just looked like
Duke. I thought you were having a medical issue over there. A little early in the show. Boy, it's going to be a long night.
Wow.
It's going to be a long night.
Stop it right now there. Welcome back to Duke Loves Rasslin. I am the Duke. And yes, I do enjoy doing pro wrestler impersonations, including Michael P.S. Hayes, the free bird. I'm going to keep on doing them no matter what my illustrious co-host, the Boston bad boy, I am Mike Pelosi, says.
And every week I say the same thing. Someone get me out of here, please.
Listen, I keep telling you, pal.
I'm going to tap my social security number.
Oh, yeah?
And Morse code so people can rescue me.
I'm going to edit that out, actually.
Like you know how to do that.
Actually, well, I wish I did. What are the top stories in the world of professional wrestling?
Who cares?
Well, we're going to find out today during Run the Ropes. You see how the Boston bad boy has a bad attitude already to start the day here.
Listen,
you see this, folks?
You make me sit here. No. There's nothing that's in my contract that says I have to do what you tell me to do.
There's a lot in your contract, including, listen, for weeks we've been teasing this thing about you saying something positive about Vince McMahon, and you're going to do it today.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
I would just advise you to not hold your breath.
Yeah, well, good thing I won't. All right? But listen, before we get into any of this stuff, I got something on my mind today. All right? I'm a little annoyed by something.
Oh, I'm sure it's something imaginary that someone did to you.
No.
One of your fake friends.
You know, there's a lot of things that, you know, I could go in that direction too. But, no, seriously, what the heck is going on with this Tyrese guy?
C-level actor? I don't know.
He's losing his mind, bro.
No.
And folks, we're going to post it on the Duke Loves Rasslin Facebook page, obviously.
I don't keep up with the gossip sheets. I know you do. So you're going to have to fill me in here on whatever the hell you're talking about.
Well, the guy, I don't know if he's having a nervous breakdown or a midlife crisis or whatever's going on. He's talking about the fact that he hasn't seen his daughter in a while and he wants to see his kid. He's broke, allegedly. But he keeps threatening and talking trash and talking down on The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Of all the people, I figured The Rock is probably a pretty decent guy in real life.
Sure, he is.
So he's harboring the anger of what's this guy's name? Tyrese.
Yes.
Who's a waifish fellow, isn't he? So
very much.
Don't mouth off to people who are bigger than you.
Yes.
Just as a general rule.
Yes.
And who the hell are you, Tyrese?
And he's putting all the pressure on The Rock. My kids can't eat because of you. That's what he says.
Really?
So again, folks, just to catch you up. And this is a story that we've been covering for a while, but it continues to develop, which and going in the wrong direction, by the way. The Fast and the Furious franchise, they want to do a spinoff for The Rock's character.
Okay.
And Tyrese says, The Rock should hold off on doing the spinoff movie until they do the next installment of the Fast and Furious.
So he's jealous that The Rock is getting a spinoff.
Getting his own spinoff, yes.
By the way, when we talk about him as an actor, are we supposed to say Dwayne Johnson, or can we still refer to him as The Rock?
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Sure.
Highest paid actor in 2017.
And he was.
Who is it?
Well, see, here's the deal.
Now, 2016, it was
The Rock.
2017,
it's got to be Mark Walberg.
It
because
is
he
Mark
made a lot of money
Wahlberg.
off that
It
Transformers
is Mark
movie, which
Wahlberg.
was a bomb. It was a dud, by the way.
So Wahlberg in 2017,
he made like $5 million more than The Rock or something like that.
He earned $68 million pre-tax.
Yep.
The Rock comes in at number 2 at $65 million.
I have a caveat to that though. The Rock actually made more money,
but not as an actor,
off of the residuals from the movies, because his movies actually did better in the box office.
Yeah, because they were saying he's earning blah, 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 blah. He earned $50 million more in 2017 than he did in 2016, even though the Baywatch movie was crap.
Still sold.
And it's funny, who's the third highest paid? Which this is amazing to me.
Ooh.
This is absolutely amazing to me. That this guy is above, this guy's above Tom Cruise. This guy is
Jackie
above...
Chan?
Jackie Chan's number 5.
Okay.
Number 3, Vin Diesel.
Yeah, well, Vin Diesel is the executive producer of the Fast and Furious. That movie makes money.
But they're talking actors, so you're going to count his money.
You got to count everything he made from movies in that year.
Yeah. So and then
that's
I think
all from Fast and Furious.
Let's see. We said Jackie Chan is number 5. Adam Sandler still on the list. He's number 4.
He's producing movies constantly, bro.
Can you believe that? That guy. I mean, if anyone thought like that's the guy that's going to be like 20 years after he was on SNL,
sure,
as the goofball character, he's the guy raking in number 4 highest paid
producer
in Hollywood.
Producer.
But this says actors. To me, if they're producing, that should be somehow scored differently. Because if they're acting in a movie, that's different.
Because there's no way Adam Sandler is commanding that much money as an actor.
Exactly,
that ain't happening.
Exactly right.
Yeah, so there's more going into that formula there.
And several, there's a lot of Bollywood actors actually that make the list, which is interesting. So that's
big money over there.
Chris Hemsworth is on the list. He's number 11. So
I don't give a damn about the rest of that list. What are we doing right now?
I'm just going through it because anything you have to talk about is absolutely
our listeners
boring.
Do not care about Chris Hemsworth or whatever you're talking
Ryan Reynolds
about right
and
now.
Ryan Gosling, who I always assume are the same person.
The fact of the matter is, The Rock is not responsible for putting food on Tyrese's table. Tyrese,
no, that's just ridiculous.
Why don't you act in another movie? Or do the stupid TV show where you're giving people self-help and all this other nonsense that you do.
Yeah.
Put out another record. Why don't you do something else and leave The Rock alone?
He could be this generation's Steve Harvey if he wanted to.
If he wanted to be.
Why doesn't he do it? He's got the look.
He's too busy complaining about The Rock.
Yeah. Imagine that, it's like when your kid grows up, Dad, what were you doing in 2017? Well, I was on Twitter complaining that another man was, getting my job instead of going out and doing something.
And here's the worst part. The Rock didn't say he's not going to act in the other movie. He just said, they want me to do the spinoff. I'm going to do the spinoff first.
They're throwing money at The Rock.
Throwing money at them.
So if you're him, how old's The Rock? Late 40s?
Yeah.
40s? Young guy.
Yeah.
Take the money.
Look.
You're not going to not take the money.
Let me tell you something. Let
me tell you this. If this was Tyrese, if this was him,
he would have taken money.
You wouldn't hear from the guy.
No question. No.
If the roles were reversed, please, he'd be saying, you can't blame me, this and that.
Sick of this guy. Listen, he reminds me of a Jay-Z lyric. Okay?
Now, remember, it's a family program.
I know. I'm going to keep it PG here. But Jay-Z says, grown men want me to sit them on my lap, but I don't have a beard, and Santa Claus ain't black.
Wow.
Now, think about that for a second. Okay? Tyrese wants The Rock to sit him on his lap and give him presents.
That's right.
Tyrese, you're not even the biggest star in the movie.
And listen, while we all want that,
sure,
it's not real life.
It ain't going to happen.
Some of us realize it's not real life.
Thank you.
By the way, that is a great lyric.
It's not a great lyric.
Because it touches on so much.
Hits it.
It touches on so much. But can I just go back one more time to Mark Wahlberg and how much I effing hate that guy?
Right, stop that right now. Stop that.
He hit the guy in the face with a baseball, whatever he did.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Women love this guy.
I don't have no
convicted of a
clue
hate crime.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
And now he feels like he needs to. It was something he hoped God forgives him for making Boogie Nights. How about God forgive me for hitting a guy and disfiguring a guy with a friggin' baseball bat or whatever the hell it was.
Good point.
How about let's start there, Marky Mark.
I can't argue with you there.
And especially since Boogie Nights is the best thing Mark Walberg has ever done.
Ever in his life.
He should have. If he had just done that one movie,
sure,
I would probably love the guy.
Remember that he was doing like the karate stuff and
it's him.
Yeah.
He plays in that movie
himself.
Yes. A dope who happens to strike it big. Guess what, Mark Wahlberg? You're a dope that happened to strike it big.
Wow, you're really going heavy on that guy.
I hate him.
See?
I hate him.
So we got Tyrese, we got Mark Wahlberg. Is there anyone else that you're going to go on the list?
We'll get into Ben Affleck next week.
Well, next week. Tune in next week,
tune in next week because there's only one Boston bad boy. It's not Mark Wahlberg. It's not Ben Affleck. It's not Matt Damon. It's none of them. It's me. Okay.
How you like them apples?
Yeah, exactly.
See that?
That's the name of that tune, Jack.
Well, with that said, run the ropes. It's time to run the ropes. I educate the Boston bad boy on the top stories in the world of professional wrestling.
Can't we do something more interesting this week?
What do you mean?
I just can't listen to you prattle on and on and on about wrestling news, especially when most of your wrestling news consists of Dancing with the Stars and all kinds of reality show updates.
Oh, my goodness. Why is it that you always complain? You're just a constant nagger about something. You ever notice that?
Because, again,
curmudgeon.
You expect people to listen to you.
Yes,
and go on and on about useless stuff.
Yes.
So why don't you give the people some real content?
You know what, Boston bad boy? I'm going to do you a favor this week.
Oh. Can I leave?
I got somebody special on the line. Hold on a second here.
Hello?
The pride of Chicago, Nick Hausman.
Is this Duke? Hello, Duke.
Uh-oh.
Boy, why does everybody answer the phone when you call like that?
Listen,
it's almost like you have a reputation or something.
You know what the problem is? So Nick Hausman, he and I were having a great conversation, and I was putting over his wonderful site, Wrestlezone.com, and I made the mistake. This is a mistake I made. Of disparaging another site. Pro Wrestling Sheet, which I do like, but I said, hey, Nick, WrestleZone's a little better. And Nick told me, you know what? My best friend runs that site. How dare you talk about him like that? And next time I see him, I'm going to smack you in the mouth.
That's called loyalty, something you know nothing about.
That's
Duke.
true. I do not.
Nick, thanks for coming on the show tonight. I'm going to cut Duke off and just welcome you to the show.
Yeah, and thank you for having me back. And who am I speaking with again now? Sorry.
See, he doesn't even know who you are.
Hey, look, I'm sticking up for you, Nick Hausman. This is the Boston Bad Boy. And, you know, I'm sticking up for you against the Duke, who's a dirty, rotten scoundrel.
I am.
And you don't even remember my name.
See that?
I remember your name because Duke wrote it down for me, and I'm just looking at it on the
Well,
paper
remember
right
that Nick was doing a little wacky tobacco the last time. So,
right,
you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, here in Chicago, right? Our liberal values.
You got to keep warm somehow.
Liberal values.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Now, Nick, you first of all, congratulations on WrestleZone continuing to grow the way that it has. It's good stuff there. You guys been kicking butt, especially with all the latest news going on in the world there. Anything new? What's been going on at the site?
You know what's going on right now in this moment that everybody's buzzing about, honestly, as I'm looking at our activity right now? The Bludgeon Brothers.
Wow.
I know, right? Of all the things, you know? But the Bludgeon Brothers debuted on the WWE UK tour about an hour and a half ago. And it's the first time, you know, because we've been seeing the promos, but they kind of look like, you know, it's Lord of the Rings. You know, they're the dwarves with the big hammers or whatever. We've been seeing those promos with them out in the woods. I guess maybe reconnecting with Bray Wyatt. I don't really know what's going on with the Bludgeon Brothers. I don't know their origin story. But they debuted for the first time in the ring, and honestly, they look awesome. Like, I think their gear looks really good. It reminds me of somewhere between Kane and Baron Corbin is the Bludgeon Brothers right now. I think they look cool. I mean, they're both gigantic dudes. I think they're going to, I mean, at least from the photos and the impression I got, I was like, these guys look like bad men. I'd be interested to see what they do.
Do you think the WWE will actually put the rocket behind them and allow them to destroy opponents for a period of time, similar to what they've done with Braun Strowman, or are they just going to drop the ball again on this deal here?
Well, that's a good question, right? I mean, you would hope so. It's not easy to say anymore that they're not going to make them become a little bit of a joke, right? Because everybody's got to do something funny from time to time, you know? Even Braun Strowman sometimes has these one-liners that make you laugh, right? You forget he's like this big, scary monster.
Literally.
I don't know. SmackDown is, I hate to say like a novelty tag team division because the Usos are really good, but, you know, you got Breezango there, the Fashion Police, and the New Day definitely likes to have a lot of fun. So I hope that even though they do kind of come across a little cartoony, I'd say maybe even a little more than cartoony, I hope they do get to just be bad men that beat people up and are very tough and intimidating and scary. I do. I think it'd be great. That's something that's needed in that division right now.
Well, fans, make sure you tweet the WWE and let them know. We want the badass version of the Bludgeon Brothers. We don't want the party time, the silliness or whatever. We got enough of the cartoon character tag teams in the WWE right now, folks. You know, speaking of the tours going on, the Boston Bad Boy was completely beside himself when he saw Triple H coming off of twerking with the New Day. Now he's teaming up like he's a new member of the Shield. What the heck is going on with that, Nick Hausman?
Man, good question. It does kind of feel like, I hate to say, midlife crisis.
There you have it. That we're quoting you on that one, Hausman.
Hot take.
I mean, it is just kind of like, you know, you're ticking the stuff off that, you know, I always wanted to twerk in a ring. I'm just going to do it right now.
Next, he's going to go ride Space Mountain, the actual ride.
Yeah,
and you know, but then he's going to, you know, it's his bucket list. It's like that movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, and I'm sure that a lot of this stuff, he's got those daughters now that are of an age where they can kind of comprehend what's going on, and they're friends are all sending them the video of Dad working in the ring. You know?
Isn't it nice when you could take a multi-billion-dollar corporation and just play around with it so that you can have fun and send videos to your kids? Isn't that nice?
No, I mean, yeah, I absolutely. If you get away with it,
yeah. Well, that's the thing. I don't know how long they're going to be able to get away with it.
Forever. No, I mean, like this is it. Strap in. It's not going anywhere. The twerking thing, funny, whatever. The Shield thing's a little bit more interesting, though, right?
No.
Because why is Triple H like why are Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, two men that have like real issues with Triple H, all of a sudden they're just like, you know what? Fine, you're in. You know,
it makes no sense. No sense
because
whatsoever.
when Triple H is the whiny boss, when he says, "I demand that this happens," that's what happens, and it's so obvious. It's so stupid.
Be nice. He always has a thing against the McMahons, and I keep explaining to the Boston Bad Boy, Vince McMahon is a close friend of mine.
The worst thing is that Triple H isn't even a Vince McMahon. He's a McMahon by association, which is even worse. It's like a watered-down version of bad.
That's enough of that. We're talking to Nick Hausman of Wrestlezone.com. Nick, what the heck is going on with Anthem Sports and Impact Wrestling? Switching gears here for a second. What is the deal here?
Good question. There was another round of releases in the last 24 hours. Referee Brian Hebner parted ways with the company. Marche Rocket parted ways with the company. I believe there are a couple of others that didn't have
Rockstar Spud.
Rockstar Spud was a couple of days. I'm talking last 24 hours. Sorry, I'm logged in the year. Yeah, Spud earlier this week. There's rumors. PWInsider.com put out a report earlier today that James Storm's contract could be up at the end of the year. But they're filming all of their TV through the end of the year in the next couple of weeks. So realistically, by sometime in mid-November, James Storm could be in the clear. I want to hope that they're restructuring behind the scenes to make good choices to keep the company solvent and keep people employed. There's good people that work there. But I don't know. There's a lot of weird reports about the company, and it's always the road to Bound for Glory that this happens.
Yeah.
It's always like, it's the curse of BFG, right? It's like, are they going to be able to survive after Bound for Glory? And I think it's the same story this year going into Bound for Glory. So we'll see. I hope for the best, but it is a clown car for sure.
Well, it's unfortunate because here we go again where we don't have anybody who is even close to being a viable contender, a number two to the WWE. I mean, we've been covering the whole NWA saga going on here, and we've had, folks within the organization, what have you. Billy Corgan put out that almost 30-page report about the future of the National Wrestling Alliance and what he's going to do. But then the guy shows up on the Alex Jones show, and he talks about the fact that he's met lizard people. Yeah. I mean, what do you do with that?
To be fair, 29 pages of that report were about chemtrails, so you can discount a lot about what he was writing at that point.
I'm just saying, is this a person who really is going to be able to take a wrestling organization and make something out of it, or is just almost like another TNA going down the drain again type of deal?
I don't know. I mean, Well, we were talking about Triple H twerking earlier, right? And
let's not go back there. Come on.
No, we're going back. So why does Triple H get to twerk in a WWE ring, right? Because he's got money and he's got power and influence.
And he put a ring on it. That's why.
He did put a ring on it.
Right. In a ring, right?
Wow, there you go.
See?
3 rings. Billy has money and influence and can, some people build ships in bottles. If you've got 500 times, the amount of money than that, you run a pro wrestling company.
And listen, I like the Smashing Pumpkin, by the way. I know the Boston Bad Boy doesn't, but I do. Okay?
Just because you're stuck, Duke is stuck in the 90s. It's the way the car he drives, the way he dresses, his hairstyles. It's all 90s. So that's why he loves the Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, I don't know about Billy and the NWA necessarily becoming that second, whatever, big two. But I will say that right now, between what they're doing in Ring of Honor and what they're doing in New Japan, Bullet Club, which isn't even like a promotion, is probably the number 2 promotion, right? number two most interesting thing in wrestling. I mean, they're a part of the number 2 and 3 biggest promotions. They're the centerpiece of those promotions. I mean, really, for me, it's the story of Bullet Club versus WWE right now when it comes for that who's got that second spot to WWE? Because I mean, they're in Hot Topic. Cody Rhodes and Brandy are going to be on that E Entertainment
Wags. That's
show.
right.
Yeah. That more mainstream stuff. These guys are proving that they can make a living and be a viable entity outside of that WWE model. And it doesn't seem like they're showing any signs of slowing down. And so I would say momentum is in their corner as far as real, what is that real second tier or whatever other choice you have, the WWE. I don't know if it goes to Ring of Honor or New Japan. I'll say Duel, and I'll just say Bullet Club is number 2.
So do you think there's any real money to be made as a number 2 company in this climate, or is it always going to be a rich man's folly to run something like this because it's your hobby and you just do it for fun? I mean, is there a real challenge? Is there such thing as a real second option as far as the financials are concerned as the promotion?
Yeah, of course. Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it takes somebody that's got experience in the business that knows where the right places to invest that money in the business are and where the right places are not to invest money into a pro wrestling company, right? I mean, that's kind of the secret sauce that Vince McMahon has. He knows that exact balance of where you can put money. If you're going to take a risk, exactly how much money you can risk and what can the return be on it. It's very calculated.
Right.
A lot of people just get into pro wrestling and they think it's, oh, wow, it's so much fun. Look at all the crazy lights and characters. And before you know it, you got no more money left in your wallet, right? Because you weren't keeping track of it. So I think it's absolutely something that's possible. I mean, again, New Japan, Ring of Honor, they complemented each other so well. They've been around for forever, for not forever, but for a very long time now, a couple decades. And the knowledge and the know-how is there to 100% succeed. And I think that, again, Bullet Club is that thing. It's that special something, like WCW was getting good, but then NWO came along, and it became amazing, right? So, it's a dance. You got to have all the right ingredients. And if I had to say who's got the best recipe right now, I go back to Bullet Club, Ring of Honor, New Japan. Absolutely.
Wow. Now, there's been reports, and this is great news, that the WWE just had the best quarter in the history of the company, which is interesting because during that quarter, the majority of their champions were people of color. And this isn't something that's ever happened in the history of the WWE or in the modern history of pro wrestling, to be honest. Do you think there's a correlation between the two where diversity equals more interest equals more dollars, or do you think that's just a coincidence?
No, I mean, I definitely think there's something to always trying to bring more people to the party, right? I mean, if you can become more inclusive and you can in a fun way bring more people into the party and let the party just grow, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It worked obviously with Jinder Mahal. I mean, how could Jinder Mahal?
That's right, the Maharaja.
What a huge, unbelievable success! I think you have to call it Jinder Mahal. I know some wrestling fans are probably turning the show off right now for me to say that, but I mean,
don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
It's fine. But you talk about taking a small investment and getting as much back on it as you can. You took this guy who really was mostly known as a low card, mid card guy, kind of a comedy guy,
a Canadian.
Canadian, right? Nobody really knew what to make of him. And then all of a sudden, one day he walked in and he looked the right way and he impressed the right person. And they said, well, let's take a chance on this guy. We don't have him for a lot of money right now, I would imagine. And I bet if it's a success, it's going to be big. And I don't know how you could consider it anything less of a gigantic success. The Indian market has never been hotter. The big thing I remember, I think it was Sanjay Dutt I talked to about the Indian market, was that while there's a lot of people, discretionary income is not like as common, right, as it is in America. So the idea of somebody taking their money and going to a wrestling show or buying a wrestling shirt is, kind of a interesting thing. So I definitely think they've made inroads there, are making a very good impression. The people that do have discretionary income to spend, I think they're converting to wrestling fans. And I did not realize the people of color thing in that last quarter. Now that I think about it, it makes a lot of sense. I think it's great. Absolutely wonderful.
Good stuff. Listen, Nick, if fans want to check out your website and find out the latest news, breaking news in pro wrestling, how can they reach you?
they can go to Wrestlezone.com. We are at WrestleZone.com on Twitter, Facebook.com/WrestleZone.com, and just catch us every day, guys. I've only been in the new gig for about a month now as the executive editor, and so I'm getting to kind of sell some of my bigger plans that I have for the site behind the scenes right now, as being as ambiguous as I can. So quarter one, Q1, January 2018, I'm hoping to be able to roll out some really cool new stuff we're going to do at the site, and just stay tuned. And if not for that stuff, just the news. We always got whatever you're buzzing about, we've got it top of the site, I promise you.
Absolutely. You know, before we let you go, Nick, I got to bring something up because you just made the official announcement. I didn't want to step on your toes there, but you just said it. You are officially the main man now over at WrestleZone.com, and because you're the boss, you got a guy over there by the name of Lavelle Porter.
Oh, boy.
A.K.A. the most respected, right? Great guy, what have you, except for one little issue.
Oh, boy.
He has a habit of disagreeing with me on a regular basis. So I need you to put in his contract
that he gets a raise because he agrees with me all the time.
Hold on a second.
Give that man a raise and don't listen to Duke's crazy ramblings anymore.
Nick Hausman, the boss of WrestleZone.com, I need you to put in Lavelle Porter's contract that he must agree with the Duke on everything pro wrestling related, NFL related, NBA related, and just life related. Okay? Can you do that for me, Hausman?
Duke, here's the thing. I would love to fulfill your request because I really do. I live to bring joy to people.
That's right.
I live for that.
That's right. That's right.
But I think that it would be wonderful if instead of telling people you're going to block them out, you instead just accept your differences.
Exactly.
And let's show the world that wrestling fans, we are the trendsetters. We get it, and we're a fun community, and we would like more people to come to the party. You know,
Duke is crying right now. There's a tear in his eye because you're crushing his dreams, and I love it.
Let me tell you
said everything right.
I don't care if you have a great website or not. You don't come on my show and make me look bad, Hausman. Okay?
Dude, no. It's confrontational now. It's confrontational now.
Hey everybody, this is Mr. Spectacular, Bryson Scott, main event pro wrestling, cruiserweight champion, NAWA cruiserweight champion, and you're listening to Duke Loves Rasslin.
All right, Boston Bad Boy, my illustrious co-host and producer. Who's our special guest this week?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What do you mean, who's our special guest? You set up the guests for the show.
You're the producer.
Yeah, okay. But you are a megalomaniac, and you insist on setting up the guests for the show.
No, hold on.
So, especially this week, you said, I take care, I'm going to get the guests, it's all squared away, blah, blah. I do literally everything else, and you set up the guests.
Let me ask, what is it that a producer is supposed to do?
I'm producing!
Are you?
I'm doing it!
Are you?
I'm doing it! I'm sitting here!
So where's the guest? Let's go.
The guest is your job.
No.
The guest is your job.
I don't have a guest. I don't have a guest.
You know what the producer's job is? To have a very extensive Rolodex and save your ass.
Oh.
And once again, I got to do it. I got to do it now because you didn't book anybody to be on the show tonight.
Who's the guest?
Well, Duke, you know I always have such a great time with people who know way more about wrestling than you do.
Oh, boy.
And so to continue on that thread, I'm going to get some real inside scoop, some real perspective. I'm going to keep this ball rolling by welcoming someone to the show. A special surprise guest.
We don't need any more guests.
An administration member of the Nation of African American Wrestling, Mr. Robbin Banks. Robbin Banks, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
Don't sound overly excited, Mr. Banks, but thank you for being on the show. We're doing very well here.
Listen, Robbin Banks.
Yeah, I gave that guy an intro.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
Well, first of all, Robbin Banks, and I respect the Nation of African American Wrestling, but Robbin Banks, you and I have never really seen eye to eye, so I'm very curious as to why you're on my show tonight.
He's on the show because I invited him onto my show.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what all this your show talk is.
Yeah, okay.
I invited him onto my show to set you straight.
Great.
So that's what we do. Great. So I admire about Robbin Banks is that he has a great name like a Batman villain. So I just think, it's one of the rogues gallery that we keep coming on this show. Okay, so, sir, for the past few weeks,
I think it's a pretty good name.
Yeah, and I think so too.
I think it's a terrible.
Now, just sit tight and let me set up the premise here. Otherwise, Duke is going to try and take over this whole thing. Because for the past few weeks, Duke has gone on and on about Nikki Bella being on Dancing with the Stars and her other stupid reality shows. He's like an old woman that, if there wasn't reality TV, he'd be watching the Golden Girls. Tell me and tell the world how ridiculous it is for a grown man to watch Nikki Bella on reality TV. Please. You have the floor.
Honestly, I didn't even know people still watch that.
Whoa. Whoa.
This is a wrestling fan telling you. Continue.
I don't even watch whatever that show is. You see that? I don't.
He can't even remember it. It's on I believe it's on the E Network. It's probably right after what's the show with the fashion show with what's her name Heidi Klum. Is it right on? Is it on before or after that?
All right, enough.
Project Runway.
First of all, Next Top Model or something.
Yeah, Next Top Model. Tyra Banks.
No, first of all, men shouldn't watch reality shows.
Thank you.
That's
exactly.
I will have you know, Robbin Banks, that I watch Total Bellas, Total Divas,
Real Housewives,
Dancing with the Stars, Real Housewives of Atlanta. I watch all the shows.
The Bachelorette.
Okay, and I enjoy those reality shows, by the way.
Now, do you watch The Bachelor or The Bachelorette or both?
Well, actually, those are the ones I don't watch.
Oh, how convenient!
I don't have time
how convenient!
But my point is, Nikki Bella.
I don't believe that. I think you watch those.
Give me a break.
Of course he watches
Nikki Bella is doing a great job, okay, in reality TV. She's diversifying her portfolio. I am a wrestling fan. I like to see wrestlers branch out and find other revenue streams. So for you to be disrespectful, Robbin Banks, and I knew that it wasn't going to take long for you to do this, for you to be disrespectful towards the woman that's going to marry John Cena, the woman that's Daniel Bryan's sister-in-law, for you to be disrespectful towards her.
Are you done?
I'm just going to let you know right now, Robbin Banks, I may have to call a couple of people and let them know about you, and the main person might be my friend Vince McMahon. So just watch out.
First of all, Duke doesn't have any friends.
No,
okay?
I got plenty of friends.
Vince McMahon doesn't know you. I'm sure of that.
Well,
and that makes two of us.
You'd be wrong
that
about
makes
that.
two
You'd
of
be
us.
wrong about that, Robbin.
All right, so I want to move on from there a little bit because it's sort of in the same vein. Mr. Banks, could you please enunciate to Duke how ridiculous John Cena looks in his stupid dungaree shorts, and that he needs to get rid of them, and then he just needs to go away and get out of my life, and get out of the contract, and do all that stuff.
Come on.
I got to stop you there.
Oh,
see that? That's right.
You know, I'm sorry. The connection's breaking up a little bit. I think those Beats headphones are causing a little interference here.
Robbin Banks is finally coming over to the good side. Go ahead, Robbin. The floor is yours.
Oh, now you want to talk.
I'm actually a Cena fan.
What is this? A bait and switch?
See that?
I don't like Nikki, but I am a Cena fan, so I had to stop you there.
Good job, Robbin. You finally come to your senses. Good job.
I still don't like you.
Well, take a number, pal.
See, and that is a hot take, and that was honesty. Did you hear that? Well, that was an honest man's voice.
I don't think Vince McMahon would like the way he's talking.
Vince
to me right
McMahon
now.
doesn't care about you.
He loves you.
Vince McMahon.
Vince
I don't.
loves you.
And neither of us, neither me nor Mr. Banks, care about what Vince McMahon thinks about what we say.
That's not true. That's not true.
I'm sure he doesn't care about us.
Exactly right. So, Robbin Banks, tell us a bit more about the Nation of African American Wrestling.
The name says it all, man. We put over the African American wrestlers. Like, we got a lot of people in there. Faye Jackson, she's awesome in the ring. Got a couple of other workers in there. Prince Canoe, he's great. He's doing his thing. All we do is put over the African American wrestler as hard as we could, and it's working.
So are you guys a social media group mainly? Are you guys like a in real life hanging out group?
Well, they got the guys in ATL. They like to meet up for the pay-per-views and stuff.
Sure.
I'm actually trying to host a meetup for January, the Raw that's coming up in the Barclays Center.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can get that started.
Well, since you have such a prominent group and you're doing meetups and what have you, I think you should put something together for the Duke.
Oh, please.
Because
Get
I
the hell
am,
out of here.
The great podcaster that I am. and here's what I'll do. I will invite
Is
my
that what
friends.
you are?
I will invite my friend Vince McMahon.
He'll invite both of his friends that he has.
Vince
They're both
McMahon
imaginary.
will
but
show up, and we'll all have a good time with the Nation of African American Wrestling. How about that?
I don't think Vince McMahon would come to that. I don't think he would.
I don't think Vince McMahon would ever want to hang out with the Duke.
Well, that's not true.
Now, listen, I love all people, so you don't have to be African American to be part of the Nation of African American Wrestling, do you?
No,
okay,
absolutely
good.
not.
Well, I want to be a member because I'm going to start my own concurrent group, which is the Nation of Disliking Duke.
All right.
So maybe I can get some pointers. I can get some
I
pointers
think
on
if you
organization.
I think if you started that group tonight, you'll have at least 3,000 members.
All right. I'm going to call the fashion police to
His
arrest
name
Robbin Banks.
is Robbin Banks.
Yeah, get
listen,
out of here.
Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for
Thanks for
setting the
having me.
Duke straight, and we'll definitely have you back on at some point in the future.
Yeah, man, can't wait. You guys have a great night. Sorry, Duke, not you.
You know, it's really shameful the way that you've hijacked this entire episode and turned it into
hijacked because
like
you showed up unprepared.
No.
You showed up unprepared.
Do
I
your
brought
job.
a guest.
Do your job. That's
your
all
job.
you have to do.
You
okay?
bring
Your
the guest
job.
so you don't bring a guest in and then you criticize the people I bring on. So you know what? Stuff your sorries in a sack, mister.
I don't even know what that means. I really don't know what that means.
Killing me here.
Whatever. Up next, the Boston Bad Boy is going to apologize to me.
I don't
And he's
think
going to
so.
apologize to all of you for being disrespectful to me.
I've got nothing to
Okay?
say to you.
That's
I've
what's
got
gonna
nothing
happen.
to say to any of these people.
Yeah, no, you're gonna say plenty, and it's gonna be on the lines of apologizing and then saying something positive about my friend Vince McMahon. But before we get to any of that, folks, you got to check out the Facebook page and the Twitter page. Duke Loves Rasslin. We update that thing constantly.
Yeah,
There's
you
always
need to get
great
a life.
information.
You
Hey,
need to get
listen,
a life. It's too much.
I
got
gotta
to
connect with my listeners. They're loyal followers there. I love them. That's right.
You think that it's funny because like your whole world is constructed around the fact that you think people care what you have to say.
Well, everyone cares what I have to say. Give me a break.
Most people, when you comment, they counteract and contradict you because you say such insane things.
Well, because they
And
don't
your
know what they're
views
talking
are
about.
ridiculous.
Because they don't know what they're talking about. That's why. Just so you know. That's right. But also, folks, you can head over to the YouTube page and you can listen to past episodes. I mean, we have great interviews with Conrad Thompson. We have Peter Vesey. You know, one of the hottest names in the history of the
one of your favorite
NBA.
people. He likes you a
he's
lot.
happy to get me off his bandwagon, so there's that.
How do I get you off mine?
Hey, you're on my bandwagon,
Yeah.
pal. But seriously, folks, check it out. Duke Loves Rasslin. You can listen to all the times I've straightened out the Boston Bad Boy. Enjoy.
This is Micah Madrid, the Texas Women's Champion, and you're listening to Duke Loves Rasslin.
I'm really having some faith here, okay, that you're going to do the right thing.
You're going to do that. I don't know what that
You're going to save this show.
I've already saved this show.
And you're gonna do
I've
the
already
right
saved
thing
the
right
show.
now.
In the last segment, I saved the show when you didn't book a guest.
You've had a bad attitude since you've walked into the secret location.
You know what? You're hanging out with the likes of Nick Hausman. You think you're all high and mighty.
Hey, listen,
because you're
man.
hanging out with the executive producer, whatever his title, executive director.
That's right.
And now you think you have friends. He doesn't like you.
No,
I don't like you either.
Oh, the girl doesn't like you. Yeah, what was that? That was Money Talks. What was that movie there?
What?
Well, it was with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan.
Oh,
Rush Hour.
Rush Hour.
That's right. He said, I don't like you. Nobody likes you. The girl don't like you. Yeah, that's right.
Really? You're quoting Chris Tucker movies now?
I am.
Please stop.
Listen, shout out to Chris
Next
Tucker.
it's going to be Medea.
That's another good friend of mine. You're welcome to come on the show anytime. Chris Tucker.
Tyler Perry as well? Can we throw him in the
I
list?
don't have anything to say to that. Tyler Perry, you're not welcome on the show.
Wow.
That's
That's
right. I'm
bold.
going to tell him.
That's bold.
I'm going to tell him. You know what?
There's a guy who probably makes a lot of money for doing very little.
Well, this is what I don't like about Tyler Perry. See how we're going to go off the rail? We're just going to air out all the laundry today, folks. We
All
don't
right,
even
let's
care.
start. Let's go there. We're talking We've been talking acting and movies all day.
Tyler Perry goes out of his way to have female characters of color who have these negative traits.
It's too much
thing.
parody.
And meanwhile, he wants to dress up as one. And
Right, so he
pretend to
won't
be
even
one.
let a woman play the woman in his movies.
That's a problem.
He's a megalomaniac.
Yeah, there's something there I
You
don't
know
like.
what? You know what I think it is? It's the poor man's Eddie Murphy, because Eddie was groundbreaking in bit parts,
Yes.
like in Coming to America.
Bingo.
Just as an experiment, as a funny thing.
Bingo.
It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to replace. I'm going to play every white guy in the movie now.
Yeah.
You know,
This is
he did the what was it, the Cranks movie or whatever.
Yep.
But that was all Eddie doing. That's a spin-off of
The
what he was,
Clumps.
the Clumps.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
That was all Eddie just doing. The Eddie thing. That
Exactly.
Was just but now this is just a pale
I don't know what
facsimile.
he's doing.
It's just it's ridiculous.
I got no time
and
for the
he keeps making money and he keeps making movies.
Well, because people like somebody to tell them that they're terrible. Because it's
sadistic.
Females of color who are supporting this guy.
Really?
Which is very ridiculous because all he does is crap all over them in his movies. It really is
it's like Stockholm syndrome.
It's disgraceful.
Tyler Perry's holding a whole group of people.
Tyler Perry, I'm sure you're listening. I just don't have anything nice for you to. I'm not a fan of yours. That's it.
Well, speaking of me being a fan of people,
yes,
we were talking earlier about some things that it got me to thinking, and I think we should. I just want to finish out my thought.
Oh my!
Considering
Buddha.
I had to sit and listen to your caterwailing. Oh, you like that one all night?
Look at that.
So we talked earlier. We spoke about The Rock, how much money he makes, and Tyrese.
Sure.
Another guy. Just get the hell out of here.
Yeah, get out. of here,
you
Tyrese.
and Tyler Perry should get together and make movies that no one will watch.
Yes,
that's what I think about Tyrese.
That would be interesting. No one would watch them.
Just make a bunch of unwatchable movies.
Sure.
Make money. I don't care if you make money on it. Just go
get
away.
Out of it.
Just get
out of my life.
Yeah. Let the adults do some work.
Please. Please.
And but it's funny. The Rock made an interesting statement this past week, and he was doing an interview, and he talked about some of the wrestlers who he'd like to battle in the ring, and a very particularly favorite name of yours came up, Roman Reigns.
Oh boy.
So it's interesting because I thought, if anything's going to get you to see the light, it's to the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
We could have made it throughout the show without mentioning that name,
Roman Reigns.
And then you just had to.
If I say Roman Reigns 3 times on the show, does he appear?
He's my arch nemesis.
Roman Reigns.
He's my arch nemesis. I can't stand him.
You were like, never mind. I'm not even going to get into it. I can't. I'm running out of metaphors for you because you're so ridiculous.
Well, I tell the truth.
You are the Tyler Perry of this podcast.
Well, that's not fair. That's not a nice thing to say. It's very rude.
So The Rock says in this interview, he says, quote, Roman Reigns needs my foot in his ass.
Yeah, I like that. That's great.
Here's my question, Mr. Know-It-All.
Okay.
What would possess The Rock, the second highest paid actor in the world, to make that statement? Why would he, put his foot out there, so to speak, about a wrestling rivalry? Why would he do that?
That's actually a great question. That's probably the best question you've ever asked.
And you know what the best part about the best question I've ever asked is?
What's that?
You don't have the answer, and I do.
No, because you know what? I got to be honest. I don't know why The Rock would do that because he hasn't committed to wrestling again ever. Everyone wants him to wrestle. There's speculation about the fact that he may wrestle again, but I don't know why he would even say Roman Reigns' name. That just doesn't make sense to me.
You've posted in on the page on Facebook and everything that that Triple H or Brock Lesnar would be the likely opponents for The Rock when he wrestles
Sure,
again.
that's what we want.
And
that's the match we need to see. Either one of those.
It's funny, and you say, well, all right, well, I hate both of those guys. I really do, because I think that's useless, because The Rock outclasses both of them by leaps and bounds. But, okay, I can see the math and how that works out.
Sure.
So why then, if that's just a nice little thing that can happen, a nice little series of events, why does The Rock step out and just try and make his own match, try and force the WWE to do something? By saying that, he has created essentially a rivalry between himself and Roman Reigns, potentially unsanctioned.
Yeah.
Because the sanctioned ideas were Triple H or Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's a bad move. It's kind of a selfish move.
I think you're on the right track, but it's a bad move and a selfish move, not by The Rock, but by the man one step behind The Rock.
Oh, my goodness.
Who always pulls the strings when it comes to things like this.
Oh, my goodness.
One Vincent Q. McMahon.
Kennedy, it's a K, okay? Can we just get this straight? It's a K.
Now, I've been talking the past couple of weeks about a grand series of circumstances that have started to reveal themselves in the handling of the WWE where it pertains to Vince McMahon's management of the company. And this is another indicator, another step forward.
Indicator that you're crazy.
Of the mystery unraveling here. Because here's the thing. Vince McMahon would have told The Rock to go out there and say that, to light the fuse of a feud between The Rock and Roman Reigns.
No.
And here's the reason. Vince knows that in doing so, it will royally piss off Triple H and his daughter,
And me.
It doesn't matter about you. Because such a big money match like that, and here's where your nerd can inform this, these things go on for a long time before there's a payoff. When you have two huge names that are going to come together, for instance, Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker, there was a long build-up. And what does the long build-up allow us to do? When we have a long build-up, when we have 2 years go by between...
Anticipation
leads to viewership,
money,
leads to merchandise buys, leads to this, that, and the other thing. Now, understanding that economics of it, WrestleMania, where this match is most likely to happen, is only, 5 months away?
Yeah.
5 months?
Yeah, it's going to be like the beginning of April.
So normally, we'd like to build this up. As a company, we want to build this up. We want to wring as much money out of this as we can. But if you want to do one of the biggest screw jobs in the world, you're going to say, with only 5 months' notice, that one of the biggest wrestlers of all time is going to take on one of the currently biggest wrestlers in the company at WrestleMania for a big cash money grab. He's going to F over the company while simultaneously giving The Rock, one of his darling children, a nice little fat payoff, because that's going to be the main event. Roman gets a nice payoff, The Rock gets a nice payoff, and Vince gets to go up yours to the company because he will not let that company be successful without him at the helm, and he knows the sun is setting on the days of Vincent Q. McMahon at the helm of the WWE.
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with me?
I seriously think
Did you
there's
see how I just
something
did
wrong
that? I just cracked the Enigma code.
You sound
I should
like
be paid for doing this.
You're a fiction writer.
It's
just ridiculous.
It's so perfect.
No.
It's poetic.
It's ridiculous.
He is like a Bond villain, where it's like, well, you know what? He does it so well. I almost have to give him credit.
Oh, really?
But if only he was as good as screwing over his own company. If only he was as good as at writing wrestling and managing a wrestling company, you might get some quality wrestling. But no, he's good at this intrigue and stuff, and that's why the WWE is where it is right now, and that's why it's only going to fall and stumble, and that's it. It's going to be over sooner rather than later.
I'm cutting this guy off, folks. I'm sick of him.
I'm
sick of him.
You're cutting me off because you know I'm right. You have nothing to say. You have no retort.
Thank you,
you have no comeback.
To the rude Nick Hausman. No thank you to that other fool, Robbin Banks. Don't ever come on the show again.
Do not insult the guests that I bring on the show because you are too busy doing whatever the hell it is you do.
Bad boy.
To get a show. This is my show. This is my show.
Do your job as a producer, okay? Do your job as a producer. Join us next week,
job
folks,
implies I get something from this.
Guy out again.
Job implies I get pay, but I don't.
No.
And nothing I get.
Your pay is being around me, pal.
That's
That's what matters.